Good evening, everybody. We're just getting started here momentarily. Thank you for joining us. Nancy will be conducting our program. So I will be sharing a survey link in the group chat if you would be so kind as to complete that at the end of the program. And yeah, welcome. We are glad to have you.
So I'm Nancy Oglesby. I'm a certified holistic health coach, and this is one of my more fun programs. Get up and go to the kitchen. Um, can you guys see the screen good? Is that working well for you guys?
I can see it.
Okay. Um, so what I love about this program is that it creates a synergy. We're going to look at creating one habit and then creating this kind of, it serves as the flashpoint for all kinds of other habits. So with with that said, I just kind of want you to take a minute to think about your why and what it is about getting healthier and getting focused on health. What is your why? My why is that I watched my mother suffer for many, many years of not being able to do, she could do them, but it was really challenging for her to do the normal daily habits of living, just those normal doing the dishes or cooking dinner or showering comfortably. For many years, she was unable to do that. And so my why is feel as good and be as capable as possible as long as possible. So I would love for you guys to think about maybe what your why is for making changes to your healthy lifestyle or creating some new healthy lifestyle choices. Um, there's a couple of good books, and I am sure that Midcontinent would be more than happy to share um, some of those with you in the chat. One is What is Your Why by Simon Sinek. It's been around for quite a while, but it's really powerful in helping you identify why something is important to you. And another one, now these are books that I read specifically for my business, but they really apply to personal life and healthy lifestyle choices as well. Another one is by Gary Keller, and the name of it is The One Thing. And it is about determining what that one thing is that will be so beneficial that it will make everything that comes after it easier or in, inconsequential, that you won't even have to do the next thing. And then the third one is James Clear, and it's spelled just the way it said, Clear's Atomic Habits. It is a fabulous book on helping people to build habits. And my gosh, those three books really did cement my theory. For many years, I have been teaching one simple change, which really does fall into the one thing, and and determining your why. So, because I can't see a lot of you and I don't have the opportunity like I do in person to chat with you and find out a little bit about why you're here and what you do, you're just going to have to bear with me not having a clue how to personalize this a little bit for you guys. But let's get started. Um, well, I kind of did this out of order, so I'm going to go forward one. So here's the flashpoint. This is the flashpoint that we're going to use, and this is the very first habit that we're going to build in order to create this synergy with everything else. And that is the simple process of setting a timer. Now, there are a million different ways you can do this. You can do it on your computer, you can do it on your phone, you can do it on a how do I say this without saying her name? I have an Amazon assistant um, who goes by a specific name. You might have her, you might have a Google Home or an Apple, whatever Apple calls their little assistant, home assistant. But I actually use mine, and I'm just going to call her Angelique because she won't speak up and talk to us tonight if I don't call her by her other name. And I just say, Angelique, set a timer for 25 minutes. And this is based on the Pomodoro method, which it was designed to increase focus, reduce mental fatigue, and get you moving a little bit. And that is for 25 minutes, you stay focused on doing what you're doing. And for 5 minutes, you take a break. So we're going to steal the Pomodoro technique and create a health explosion. So I tell Angelique to set the timer for 25 minutes. I stay focused, or I sit and watch television, or I crochet or craft or whatever it is, right? I set a timer for 25 minutes. And when that goes off, I take a 5 minute break. And it is those breaks that we are going to turn into like crazy good things. So we all know that sitting is the new smoking, and the whole world went out and bought standing desks. And standing desks are great, but standing in and of itself isn't all that helpful. As a matter of fact, it can cause other problems. You can develop lower back pain or varicose veins. It might add more strain to your circulatory system. Um, you can end up with aching legs and feet, your knees, the balls of your feet. Standing alone doesn't really solve the sedentary problem. And the sedentary problem can cause of obesity, heart disease, diabetes, all the chronic diseases that are out there. A sedentary lifestyle does not help. So, what do the experts recommend? They recommend that we get up and replace 30 minutes of sitting with light physical activity. You don't have to, really getting up and doing 30 minutes all at one time is not the solution. And that's why, I don't know if you've read about this, but going to the gym is good for your health, but it's getting up several times throughout the day. So that's what we're going to do. We've got a system to help you get up throughout the day, and that is setting a timer. Setting this timer. I'm not kidding. This is the one habit that you can choose to use that will change your life. So you're going to set the timer, and you're going to get up and go to the kitchen. And why the kitchen? Because that's where all the other things can happen really great. So vegetables. I like to separate veggies out from fruit because they're actually a little bit better for you because they have less sugar. However, fruit's important. We will add that in a little while. So what do vegetables have to do with getting up? Remember, we're going to the kitchen. And if we start our day out at 9 o'clock and we sit for 25 minutes in our office or at our or writing, I journal at first. That kind of tends to be more like 6 o'clock. But if we set a timer for 25 minutes and it goes off, and we snooze that timer for 5 minutes, we go into the kitchen and we start to prepare our meals for the day. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but think about all the vegetables that you buy fresh and end up throwing away because you never got around to it. If you use this technique of setting a timer for every 25, and let me just say, I'm not real militant about the 25 seconds. If I'm in the middle of um, writing a blog or even reading a book and I have 2 pages left, I'm not going to worry about, oh my gosh, the 25 minutes are up, I have to get up. It doesn't have to be this big regimented thing. But when that timer goes off, if you take 5 minutes to go into your kitchen and slice an onion, slice a green pepper, radishes, carrots, green beans, whatever it is that you love in your salad, or let's say you're going to make a stir fry that night for dinner and you just prepare a part of it, put it in a storage container and throw it in the fridge. And in 25 minutes, when your next timer goes off, you will do another piece of that meal prep. One of the things that holds me back from cooking new recipes is feeling kind of discombobulated while I'm trying to put it together. There's just so much going on and I'm not familiar with what I'm doing. This technique is great for adding in new recipes to your life because you can, in these 5 minutes, you can look at that recipe and put your spices in little dishes so that when it comes time to cook it later that night, everything's ready for you. This is just a really simple way of adding in fresh food to your diet. Talk about simple and maybe not even 5 minutes worth of trouble is to drain a can of chickpeas. Maybe you want to learn to make hummus. You can measure the ingredients, drain the can of chickpeas, and when you have more time, you can go ahead and finish that. Now we're going to talk about fruit. Fruit is also loaded with micronutrients, so definitely make sure to include it. I eat a fairly low carb diet, and so I focus primarily on berries, and then I add in one piece of kind of seasonal fruit throughout the day. Um, Got to tell you, Aldi had the best clementines about a month ago. I haven't seen them since. You know, this whole shipping issue and is making things a little challenging to find. But let's talk about adding in some fruit. So when I talk about synergy and this light activity, when you start using your time to prepare fresh food, because that's the one thing I hear all the time is I don't have time to prepare all this stuff. My kids won't eat an apple. I just don't have time. This gives you that time, especially if you're working from home, and that was a huge part of why I wrote this presentation is so many people are working from home. This gives you the opportunity to create those things and do something good for your health and your family. So not only are you getting up and being active and not sitting for 4 hours in a row, you're actually creating these beautiful foods that your family will start to love or you will start to love. So slicing fruit, making a beautiful fruit bowl, creating, I always add nuts or a good organic cheese to fruit because you really kind of want to slow down how quickly that sugar hits your system. And and fat and fiber will help do that. So adding a slice of organic cheddar cheese or a handful of almonds or cashews or pecans is a great way to round out having fruit as a snack or as a dessert. So I got to tell you, um, one thing that I teach in every one of my classes is to create these beautiful platters of green peppers. So we talked about vegetables. You can slice green peppers, you can make carrot sticks, celery sticks, you can cut cucumbers into wedges, cauliflower and broccoli, and you can make a veggie, which I gotta tell you, if I'm hungry, what is the best thing I can snack on while I'm cooking? Fresh veggies and fruit. So you can do that if you have children. You can make, who cares if they don't eat dinner if what they ate before dinner was vegetables, fruit, and nuts? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So this is a great way to spend those 5 minute chunks of time is getting things, getting fresh food ready. Um, Another thing that's really fun, I don't know who on here has kids because I can only see a couple of you, and I even seeing you have no clue if you have kids, but um, making these little snacks in muffin tins is a really fun way for kids to pick their snacks. Just putting carrot sticks or nuts, little pieces of fruit in different muffin tins is a really cute way to do it. You might, if you don't have kids, you might even want to do that for yourself. So, what next? Um, when I don't know about you guys, but drinking water is my nemesis. What about you guys? Does drinking water, is that a problem for you, getting enough water in during the day? So for me, it's water. But water is so important. So when you get up and you go to the kitchen, regardless of what your 5 minute plan is to um, to do in that 5 minutes, if you're chopping veggies or creating a fruit tray or whatever you're doing, drink water while you're doing it. Um, Water is so good for us because it carries nutrients and oxygen to our cells. It flushes bacteria from your bladder. Have you ever, gosh, when I was younger and not nearly as experienced, I had kind of a regular relationship with urinary tract infections, right? That's just such a fun thing for women to go through. And I sat in the heat one day and I thought I was drinking plenty of water, but I was not because it didn't dawn on me until I got home that I had not gone to the bathroom all day. That creates a breeding ground for bacteria in your bladder. And drinking water and staying really hydrated flushes that bacteria out. It aids in digestion, it prevents constipation, which again, huge problem in our country. I think probably that one of the leading over-the-counter products is Miralax, and Miralax is for constipation. So drinking water would go a long way toward fixing that. It can help normalize your blood pressure. It can help stabilize, and it cushions your joints. Um, so water is critical, and we all know that. I mean, we all know that we can't hear it often enough. So I love my coffee in the morning. In the evening, I tend to have a cup of herbal tea, and sparkling water is a thing for me. I don't know, do any of you like sparkling water? Is that new? Soda water with flavor. It's just kind of a really nice treat. I've always liked fizz, and when I quit drinking soda and diet soda, I started drinking sparkling water. And that counts. Herbal tea, sparkling water, that counts toward your hydration for sure. But um, sparkling water can get pricey if you're really trying to rely on just that for hydration. So what can you do to make water more appealing? Other than Joni, because Joni loves her water. And when I grow up, I want to be you because I have friends who love water and that's all they drink. And I am so incredibly jealous of that being your thing. Um, but one of the ways I solve drinking water is I keep a glass jug on the counter in the kitchen. Remember, we're going to get up and go to the kitchen, and that's where my jug is. And I will pour a glass of water when I go into the kitchen and drink that water. I happen to love the glass that I drink out of. I don't know if you can see this, but it's just kind of really a plain glass. But I love this glass. And that makes me more likely to drink the water. Um, so if every 25 minutes you got up and you drank some water, you would go a long way toward hydrating yourself for the day. Um, Another option, and I do this in the summer, I just love this image on the screen because it makes me so happy. And I do that in the summer. I do a lot of lemons and limes in water. I have this beautiful pitcher that I love the way it's clear glass, and I love the way that the water looks when it has fruit in it. So sometimes we are more likely to do things if we are attracted to them. And pretty things are kind of attractive, right? So a beautiful pitcher with fresh limes or lemons in it, oranges, grapefruit. That's one thing you can do. I love to add raspberries to my water. Raspberries are crazy flavorful, and it only takes a few in a 1 quart pitch, 2 quart pitcher of water to give a beautiful essence of raspberry to that water. So that's something that you can do that will um, maybe make it more special to be drinking water. Another thing is get yourself a glass that you love. So when I'm drinking ice water, which is a summer thing for me, oh, by the way, I drink my water room temperature in the winter, and that's just a personal preference thing. In the summer, I drink it with ice, and I drink it in this beautiful hand painted, I should have brought it with me, wine glass. Um, it just, maybe it's just me, but I really love having special containers for my water. So that's another way that you might find um, to encourage you to drink water. Yes, Sarah, blueberries. I was going to say that. It's so funny you said that. Blueberries and cucumbers. Cucumbers are really good in water if you're looking for, and in the summer, really refreshing. Matter of fact, Blue Sushi in Westwood serves their water with cucumbers in it. It's kind of cool. Okay, so I cannot believe how quickly 25 minutes goes by. So when I tell you to set this timer for 25 minutes, the second time it goes off, you are going to be shocked at how fast this timer keeps going off. So that's what I'm talking about when I say I'm not real militant about the 25 minutes, if it's 30 or 35, but that getting up is so important. That getting up and doing something light is so important. So you've gone to the kitchen, you have um, you have chopped and diced green peppers and radishes and carrots and onions, and your stir fry is ready to go. You've even actually gotten the chicken out, cleaned it off, sliced it. Life is good. And 25 minutes are gone again. So, what are you going to do next? Well, this is where movement comes in. And so, all of these suggestions that I'm making are just that. They really are suggestions for what to do. I'm sure that you guys are going to come up with really fun things to do during, or fun might not be the right word, but interesting things to do in these 5-minute breaks. And I would love to hear what they are. But this is one of my favorite stretches. So you stand up and you put your arms up and you stretch your arms out really high, and then you bring them down into this W form and squeeze your shoulder blades together and really feel that stretch. And you do that a few times, you will feel great. So any stretching, if you, I was in physical therapy um, several months ago, and I had all these exercises to do. They're a great, this is a great way to do simple exercises. You can put some hand weights in your office. You can um, put them by your chair if you are a crocheter or a knitter or someone, in the evening, I like to sit down and watch a couple television shows. And so having those, there you go, having those weights there encourages me to stretch and lift and do movements. I actually, on a 3x5 card, I have a list of 5 simple exercises to do when you're just waiting for that break. So it's kind of an easy way. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, when you set that timer, that's the habit to build. And for me, it required having a physical timer in front of me for a while. And now I use Angelique or Angelica or whatever I said her name was, whatever I said her name wasn't. And just building that habit, to pick something that will help you remember to set the timer, because that is the habit that's going to lead to all these other habits. Again, there's a million things you can do. You can stretch side to side. You can do some balance work, high knees. You can do squats. And even if you're in an office, you can do a lot of things. You may not want to be doing the why because, you might feel a little weird about it. But you can do kickbacks and balance on one leg. You can do half of tree pose. You can do some desk push-ups, squats, whatever you can do in your office for 5 minutes. Just get up and move. So now we come to, this is going faster than it does when I do it myself, but now we come to part of my favorite is simple chores. So when you're working from home or I have an office in my home. I have many clients whose offices are in their home. And this has been something that they have found really helpful. How many of you have heard about the impact on your health and well-being of having a cluttered space, having disorder, having things that need to be cleaned around you, and how disruptive that is to your well-being, because it's always there in the back of your mind. So this is I don't know, it's hard for me to pick a favorite part of this get up and go to the kitchen, but this is one of my favorites. And if you put your email, I think that this will work. If you put your email in the chat, or maybe, I can't remember who's the facilitator. I'm sorry, MCPL, virtual programming dude. Um,
Yeah, I'm Patrick.
Patrick, thank you. I was so frustrated by not being on that I forgot your name. Patrick, if I can email it to you and you can email it out, there's something, maybe they don't want the email in the chat or something, I think Cheryl said. So
Yeah, if you would like, you could just send it to Cheryl, and Cheryl will have it sent out by tomorrow.
okay, awesome. So what this is, there's a website, which I hate the name of, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It's called housewifehowtos.com. And she has a couple of lists that are really fun for this kind of activity. And there's one called 1 Minute Chores, and there's another one called Commercial Break Cleaning. And there are things on this 1 minute chores that in this 5 minute break, I'm not kidding, you guys will love having these lists, because what I found when I first started doing this was that I couldn't always think of something to do. I would declutter something, I would carry laundry to the wash, but at a certain point in the day, I was like, okay, I'm clueless. So here are some ideas that she has on her lists. Clean the front porch. Okay, this one I can guarantee you I've never done. Polish doorknobs. Pick up shoes, I have done that. Sweep. I loved this one. Go through coats, go through coat pockets. I found some interesting things. Um, go out to your garage and get trash out of the car. There's so many different things that you can do during this little 5 minute break. It is so much fun. Um, so you can go through your junk mail, you can wash the table, you can dust a table. One of the things I really love to do is go to the junk drawer, because I have about 6 of those. They live in more than one room in my house, and they're convenient. I mean, I there's a book on decluttering that is about different styles of decluttering, and my style happens to be having an open basket for things to just be put into, so that then you can go and put them where they belong at a later date. So going through those and putting things away in this 5 minutes, all of a sudden, before you know it, things start being organized in your home. And it is such a nice thing to live in a space that is decluttered. So whether it's your desk or the dresser in your bedroom, your bathroom cabinet, simple chores in those 5 minute breaks, it's just amazing how long 5 minutes can be. So we have talked about these 4 elements of wellness, and I've thrown in the decluttering, the kind of decluttering your mind. I guarantee you that if you add in more fresh vegetables, if you add in more fruit, toss in a little organic dairy and some nuts to those things, drink more water and get more movement, sit less, you will get in those 30 minutes of light activity. 6 hours of sitting with six 5 minute breaks is only 3 hours of sitting. So you will more than get in that 30 minutes. Adding in vegetables, adding in fruit, drinking more water, and moving more, those are the proven methods to preventing, reducing, or reversing chronic disease. These things consistently across the board, every single chronic disease will be impacted by adding in these 4 things. And really, this went a lot faster than I thought. I thought it was going to take an hour. It took much longer when I was talking to myself. So I would love to answer any questions you guys might have. I don't know if you can unmute yourselves or if Patrick needs to. No questions?
It's I think also worth noting that Nancy has a few more programs coming up as well.
You too. Yes, Gluten Free 101 is Monday night at 6:30. And it's virtual. And I'm playing One Cent Change on Tuesday, the 8th at 2 o'clock, along with like a whole bunch more, hopefully in person, because I love to be interactive with people and find out what specific needs you guys have. Um, so hopefully we're going to be back in person in a couple of weeks. But I guess I should be grateful we weren't in person tonight because the snow would have been fun. So unless you have questions, that's it.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We really hope that you can tune into one of Nancy's other programs. I think they're all going to be fantastic. And thank you, Nancy, for sharing all the information with us tonight. I think that is very helpful. Yes, no problem. Glad to be here. I hope everyone enjoyed the program and has a warm, safe evening. And we look forward to having you back next time.
Thank you.
All right. Hope to see you Monday night.
All right. Take care.